Welcome. You've arrived here at the end of your day. It's time to set aside the noise, the worries, and the busy thoughts. Take a slow, deep breath in and gently let it out. Imagine yourself somewhere quiet, a place of warmth and stillness. Tonight, I'll tell you a long and gentle story, a story from the old world, where palaces rose above tiled roofs, where silk rustled softly in lantern-lit corridors, and where whispers carried more weight than the loudest voices. This is the story of the eunuchs of Imperial China, men who lived within the palace walls, serving emperors and empresses, men who held power not with swords or armies, but with subtle influence, loyalty, and presence. Their lives were unusual, sometimes mysterious, and tonight we will not dwell on the drama or the violence, but instead on the quiet rhythm of their days, the forgotten details of their lives, and the gentle weight of their presence in the long sweep of Chinese history. So, close your eyes. Let the story wash over you, like the soft rustle of silk in the night breeze, and allow yourself to drift peacefully. Chapter 1. The Silent Corridors of the Forbidden City. Imagine the palace. The Forbidden City in Beijing. Endless courtyards tiled in gray stone, roofs glazed with golden yellow tiles, gleaming in the morning sun, red-painted gates, tall and heavy, opening into one another like layers of a dream. And within these walls lived the eunuchs. They rose before dawn. Their sandals clicked softly against the stone as they hurried through long corridors. They lit lanterns. They prepared tea. They tended to scrolls, brushes, seals, and robes. Unlike ministers who came and went, or soldiers who guarded the gates, eunuchs lived inside, day after day, year after year. The palace was not just their workplace. It was their home, their whole world. Their role was to be close to the emperor, to attend his private chambers, to carry messages, to guard the imperial seal, to whisper orders that might change the course of the empire. And yet, so much of their power was quiet, unseen, unnoticed, except by those who paid careful attention. Chapter 2. Daily Life in Service. Their mornings began quietly. They might help prepare the emperor's clothes. Robes of silk embroidered with dragons, folded carefully. Belts and ornaments polished until they gleamed. They would help arrange the emperor's writing desk. Inkstones rinsed, brushes laid out in perfect order, paper stacked neatly. Some eunuchs carried trays of food, rice, vegetables, delicately steamed buns. Others held candles, standing silently as the emperor dined. Most of their work was invisible. They were not supposed to draw attention to themselves. A eunuch's presence was meant to be like air, felt but never noticed. Yet in that silence lay their strength. They remembered everything: the emperor's moods, the empress's requests, the alliances whispered in passing. They carried secrets more carefully than scrolls. In this way, the eunuchs became the memory of the court. Soft-footed men gliding through the shadows of power. Chapter 3. The Quiet Trust of the Emperor. To understand why eunuchs became powerful, we must remember trust. The emperor could not always trust ministers. They had families, they had private ambitions, they had clans, allies, and rivals. But eunuchs had none of these. They could not build families of their own. They could not pass wealth to sons or nephews. They depended entirely on the emperor. This created a bond, a strange closeness. The eunuchs were not equals, but they were always near. They heard the emperor sigh at night. They saw him when he was tired, or unwell, or thoughtful. They shared in the most private moments of the Son of Heaven. And slowly, over centuries, emperors placed more and more trust in them. Trust to carry the imperial seal. Trust to deliver commands. Trust even to read documents before anyone else. In their quiet way, the eunuchs became bridges. Bridges between the emperor and the great machine of the empire. Chapter 4. Their own community. Though they served the emperor, eunuchs also had their own small world. Inside the palace, they lived together in dormitories. Simple wooden beds lined up in rows, candles burning low at night. They shared meals together. Rice, pickled vegetables, thin soups. They made small friendships. They told each other stories of their lives before the palace. Many had come from poor families. Some had been orphans. Some had been sold into service. They found comfort in companionship and in small rituals of daily life, polishing their shoes, folding robes neatly, practicing calligraphy with quiet patience. In a world where they could not have families of their own, the eunuchs created bonds with each other, a quiet brotherhood hidden within the walls of the palace. Chapter 5. Rituals and ceremonies. Life in the palace was full of rituals, the changing of seasons, the celebration of festivals, the honoring of ancestors. During the new year, eunuchs helped hang lanterns, red and gold, across the courtyards. They prepared tables of offerings. They polished incense burners until they gleamed. When the emperor performed sacrifices at the temple of heaven, eunuchs carried ritual vessels. They walked slowly, carefully, as if each step was part of the ceremony itself. In these moments, they were part of something greater than themselves. The rhythm of the dynasty, the endless flow of ritual that bound the heavens and the earth, and yet they were never the center, always in the background, always present, yet quiet. Chapter 6. Power in silence. Over the centuries, some eunuchs rose to great influence, not through armies, not through wealth, but through whispers, by controlling who saw the emperor and when, by deciding which message reached him first, by keeping or delaying a letter. They shaped the rhythm of power. But tonight, as you drift, let us not think of conflict or corruption. Instead, think of how power can sometimes be quiet, how it can live in the smallest gestures, the bow of the head, the folding of a robe, the gentle reminder of a forgotten task. This was the way of the eunuchs, power not of thunder, but of still water. Chapter 7. The long decline. As dynasties rose and fell, eunuchs remained. From the Han to the Tang, from the Ming to the Qing, their roles changed, their influence waxed and waned, but always they were there, like shadows in the palace. Even in decline, when the forbidden city grew quieter and the dynasty weakened, the eunuchs still walked its corridors, lighting lanterns, carrying scrolls, tending to rituals as they had always done. History remembers them in many ways, sometimes with suspicion, sometimes with awe. But tonight, let us remember them simply, as men who lived unusual lives, bound forever to the heart of the empire. Conclusion: drifting into quiet. And so, as we come to the end of this story, imagine again the palace at night, lanterns flickering softly, the sound of wind brushing against the tiled roofs, distant bells echoing faintly in the stillness. The eunuchs move quietly through the halls, carrying candles, arranging scrolls, fading into silence. Their lives were not ordinary, but they remind us of something gentle, That influence does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it walks softly on stone floors. Sometimes it is simply the act of being present. As you rest now, let the story settle softly. Let the quiet power of stillness guide you into sleep, and may your dreams be as calm as the lantern-lit corridors of the Forbidden City. Good night.